Hello, welcome back to Uncle Buck's Garage. Today we're going to start on the step side fenders, and this is going to be a pain in the ass, but here we go. Afternoon. Well, it's time to get started, and like I said, we are going to go from the back end to the front. So today we're going to start by pulling these step side fenders off, and I've already run into a little bit of a snag. I already have one bolt. It's a combination of square hex head screwdriver ends and Torx bits ends in these bolts. It's a combination. It's kind of like no rhyme or reason, but so this is an old trick that I thought I'd show you guys. It's an old screwdriver that you don't mind messing up, and basically a crescent wrench, and you just fit it in there, and basically all you do is you use, because you can't get a lot of torque, and basically all we're going to do is just use this to get your leverage, because just screwing with your hands, you don't have a lot of torque. We're going to see if we can get this to go. Nope. Okay. Looks like we're going to be welding. Either we're going to have to grind the head of this one off, or we're going to have to weld it, nut on it, to get it to move. And had the same problem with this one. As you can tell, I've already sprayed these. These have been sitting for a couple of days. This one is a Torx head, and it's stripped off in the hole. So it's either we grind these off to get the fender off, and we deal with it afterwards to replace these bolts, which we're going to have to replace the bolts anyways, because the heads on them are stripped and there's no point in putting it back in. So we might as well grind the heads off of this instead of wasting the time welding to get this fender off. And because the inside of this bed is actually not too bad. The whole perimeter is got a lot of old paint on it, so it's been pretty protected. It's not really rusted. The strips are pretty good. There's a couple of them that's got some small holes in them that I'm not really worried about. We can tack those up and weld those up in a later date. But all in all, but we need to get these flares off, these fenders off, so we can get to the metal on the inside, because you can't reach it under here, and so we need to get to that metal to get it stripped down and get it protected so that no future damage happens. Okay, out of 10 for each side, I've got 7 I got to grind, because I think this has been into before, which no telling about it, is that there's a mismatch of the Torx bits and the Phillips heads bolts in them. So yeah, and they've been soaking for quite some time. I've had some PB Blaster on this for several days, and they're just not moving, and they're just junk. So what we're going to do, we're going to end up replacing all of them. I think they're not going to blast and clean up, but this is just part of having an old truck like this, like you're building. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, and the trick is doing it the smart way and the easier way instead of the hard way. It takes time. So I know I'm not going to be reusing these bolts, so I might as well just grind the heads off of them and then deal with them afterwards with the vice grips and a little bit of heat, and to get them out of the connections. So we're going to grind the heads off of these and see if we can get these, get underneath it, and see if we can get these fenders off today, so we can start the process of working on this bed. Because basically these fenders are in actually really good condition, so I'm kind of stoked to be able to get them off and get them sanded out and primed and put back in the pile for future use. Alright, let me tell you a little something about grinding and safety and all that kind of good biz. Now, I worked steel for 20 years. I built bridges and welded and drilled holes and ground, and I did it for years and years and years and years. And for all that time, I think I had one piece of material in my eye. And we had the old hand that dug it out for me. But I still am going to put it on, put that build down heavy. And the other thing is that with this tailgate, I have one end. If you're going to be grinding in a closed position, somewhere where it's got nothing else to do but bounce back at you, give it a way of getting out and away from you. Like with this, I can drop the tailgate when I'm doing the other side, and all the sparks are going to go out that tailgate, and it's not going to bounce back at me. But I don't have that opportunity with on its way to the cab. So, old trick is use something that's going to capture the sparks. This is just an old ratty towel, but that's going to capture the spark instead of bouncing them back at me, because I got a couple that I have to do down here. Well, actually I don't. I have those ones right here, but still I'm going to be grinding and the sparks are going to go this way, and this will capture more sparks than bounce them back at me, so that enhances my protection. If I was in this corner down here, I would definitely have this up. Even if I catch it on fire, I don't care. It's just an old ratty towel. But it protects your eyes, because you only get one set, guys. And when you're having to grind in a corner, I don't care how much shield you have. I don't care how many side pieces you have on your glasses. I don't care. I've seen it over and over and over again. When you're in a corner and that spark ain't got nowhere to go but bounce around, that's when trouble happens. But if you give it a little something, gloves, an old towel, a rag, something, give it something to hit and stick to if it's hot, that you don't mind burning up. I've even seen guys use their own flannel jackets, okay? It will protect your eyes more than bouncing it off another metal surface and bouncing it back at you. Okay? Food for thought. Alright, boys and girls, lesson number 2. I just got done blowing this bed out. Okay, so the thing with it is that, oh, I just saw some more new ones I gotta check. Anyways, the thing is that this is an old wood bed, and there was a lot of twigs and leaves and debris in this bed. I don't want to be grinding and set something on fire. The other consideration of this is that this truck doesn't have a gas tank in it right now, which is a plus. So if you're going to do any kind of grinding, any kind of using heat, torch, anything you need to use to get old nuts and bolts that are rusted on out, then you got to just consider all the problems. Also, the other thing is that I have an fire extinguisher here in the shop, so it'll be by my side just in case. So just remember, if you got an old wood bed, leaves, debris, stuff sitting in the cowl, stuff sitting in the bed, whatever it is, clean it out before you start making any sparks or any flames. Just clean it out. Okay, I'm going to give you a little example of what I was talking about with the towel. Now, I already started grinding on this and it's already working, so I'm going to show you a little visual on this. This will save your eyes, potentially. This is just a little bit of a better way to do it, but I'm going to make some noise and I'll mute this out, but I'll give you a little example. I don't know if my head was in the way or not, but as you can see, the sparks hit that. It didn't bounce back at me. Now, on any kind of a deal. This little protector is adjustable. There's screws, and you can adjust that guard around where you can make it where it was shooting a little bit out on this part and down towards this part of the bed, but you can adjust that if you need to make it better for yourself. It's just a couple of Phillips head screwdrivers. You loosen them off, you spin it around, put it where you need it, and always set them down flat. Trigger up. Why? Because if you set it down, that's the last thing you want to do is this thing bouncing around when you set it down. You want it to be done, and you want it to sit there all day long without it doing anything.